Oh, welcome in. It's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to all you rowdy run gooders ready to rock and roll for this week's whatever. This week's whatever you want. Sanderson Farms, Alfred Dunhill links. We can talk about the Ryder Cup. I know it's probably not great to have Major League Baseball playoff games on at 10 a.m. Pacific time, but I love having something on like during the day. I've got some vested interest in the Tigers going as far as possible. So that game's 1-1 right now. They're in a scoring opportunity. Would prefer the Cubs to win tonight. Dortmund just scored, which is great. Need a victory there. So there's a lot of fun stuff happening right now, but nothing more fun than what we are going to do to talk about golf this week. And we'll talk about weather. I'll dive into any of the players that you want. If you want me to talk about the Ryder Cup, I can talk about the Ryder Cup. We can just kind of take this from anywhere. I think it's going to be pretty low key. I don't have to rush through this, and we're just going to enjoy it. So let's start with a couple of items here. I'm going to get us out of the gate with the weather in Jackson. Oh, yeah, baby. Jackson, Mississippi. Here's the weather forecast for the week, and it is copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. Mid to upper 80s all week long. Winds in the afternoon getting to 8 or 9 miles an hour. Literally nothing else. No chance of rain all week long. This is just going to be copy and paste. So really, I don't see, for our purposes, that wave advantage. Everybody's going to get basically the same thing in the morning. And then when they flip around, they're going to get the same thing in the afternoon. So probably not going to be much of a wave advantage there. Speaking of advantages, we are only about maybe a little bit more than halfway full in our weekly listener league contest. This is going to run, and it's going to have the $5,000 guarantee no matter how many people get in this. So if there's an overlay, there's an overlay. I would not like that from a business standpoint and my relationship with Splash, but I would like that from a you guys standpoint and a player standpoint of having some level of overlay. So let's close this up so that when I go and say we want $1.25 million for next year's one and done, they don't pin me and say, you can't even fill a $5,000 Sanderson Farms Championship tiers contest. So all that fun stuff right there. Speaking of which, I'm going to jump ahead to this question from Cody because there's two very interesting things that I want to talk about in this. One is NFL Survivor, and one is the Sentry venue. So I don't know if you guys have seen this. I saw the drone footage of Kapalua. It's unrecognizable. That place is always lush and gorgeous. It is completely dead, completely browned out. It looks like a patch of dirt. It is unbelievable. If you're not aware of this, this is a dispute. One thing that is not a dispute is they do not have water to put on this golf course. Now there's a dispute on why they don't have the water. There's this interesting lease agreement in Hawaii where this company kind of controls the pipes and the tubes and the sewers and the infrastructure of the water. They're saying it's drought season. We just don't have enough water to give you. And Kapalua and these surrounding areas are saying, no, this isn't a drought issue. There has been enough rain. This is not uncommon. You have not kept up the infrastructure, and these are broken pipes and broken tubes and broken whatever that is not you're not living up to your end of keeping up this infrastructure. I don't know who is right and who is wrong, but what that means is they're not playing at Kapalua this year. And I don't know if that course is going to survive. I don't know. I have not heard anything about where they could play this. In fact, I almost feel like the sentiment is that they are not going to play the Sentry. I would find that hard to believe. I think they'll find somewhere, even if they have to do it without fans or a very small limited number of fans. I just feel like they will find somewhere to play the Sentry. There are a couple of other courses on the Hawaii Islands that have hosted championships and host championships every year, whether it's the Senior Tour or LPGA. There is something out there. Maybe they just play Waialae 2 weeks in a row. I have no idea. But there has not been a single ounce of conversation about a replacement venue for Kapalua. Secondarily, Cody. So I've got a couple of survivors going on here. So obviously the Second Cut Survivor, which that's the podcast I do with Mark Gimmelman, and Armina is producing it, and Greg Ducharme, and we talk about golf. Like we love that. That's like, we're just going to talk about golf and all that stuff. So there's links in the description for that. So we have this second cut Survivor, in which I've got 2 entries remaining. So the one that we track on the show is this one, entry number 2. So this is the one that I picked this week with LA. So I have 2 entries left there. The other thing that I'm pretty interested in is Pool Genius this year. I don't know if you guys have seen this, is running this Survivor Bowl. So it's a free roll. It's invite only. So they invited Armina and I, and it started with like 300 people. Everybody gets 3 entries. So I guess it was probably like 100 people and everybody got 3 entries. And I've got all 3 going in this one, which is nice. And we are about halfway through. So I like that a lot. So I've got my entries in here. So that's a 10K free roll and then 5K to, it goes to Rick Rungood. I thought it was going to go to my picks. And then 5K to a charity of the winner's choice. Armina also has all 3 of her entries alive, which is pretty good. She's doing a very good job there. That is all. I think that I will get to golf in like 30 more seconds. I think that what Pool Genius has done with their tools for Survivor is incredible. I love the grid. I love the fact that you can see like all your entries are in here and it gives you like the full on recommendation. So you can basically see what I'm going to be doing this week here. But like, this is such a time saver, especially for me, someone who does not follow along. We have a promo code. I think it's probably the best and discount you can get. The links in the description. Anyway. All right, let's talk golf. First 2 questions are about the Alfred Dunhill links, which is pretty funny. Playoff Rondo says, who do you like on the DP World Tour this week? Looks like a better course and field. Yeah. So if you're not aware, I load in a bunch of different fields, and when the salaries are available, I throw them in as well. If salaries never come out, like for Corn Ferry or for the Senior Tour, the players and the stats are still in there, but just there's no salaries. So Alfred Dunhill links. This is if you've never heard of this, this is a very cool event. It's basically the DP World Tour's Pebble Beach, right? So the Pro-Am, there's like, I think both of Matt Fitzpatrick's parents are playing in this. You'll see like a lot of family and friends and celebrities and whatever play this. And they play it over 3 courses, the old course, Kings Barn, and Carnoustie. And then they all go back to the old course for the final round. So very similar to like what the old school AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am 3-course rotation was. So that's what this is. And you get a pretty good draw. In fact, we're getting like a handful of guys who played in the Ryder Cup, Tommy Fleetwood, Fitzpatrick, Hatton, and Robert McIntyre. You're getting live golfers like Brooks Koepka and Tom McKibben. There's like 16 live golfers in this field. And then you're getting all like the best DP World Tour players. So you are getting like a pretty cool little strong field here at the moment. All that being said, so the cheat sheet's loaded up. So you can go back and see like course history here. So if it was not the week after the Ryder Cup, I might be more interested in Tyrrell Hatton. Now he has dominated at this event, right? He's got, he won it here last year. He's got a handful of top 10 finishes. If you think that he has come down off the hangover, he is probably a very good play. I'm focusing a lot on maybe some of the top end live and DP World Tour guys. You look at somebody like Marco Penge, who missed the cut here last year, but has turned into a completely different player since then. He won the Danish Golf Open 5 starts ago, 6th 4 starts ago, 8th 3 starts ago, 13th in his most recent start, which is the BMW PGA Championship, their best event on that tour. And the ball striking numbers, the tee to green numbers are fantastic. He's won a couple of times this year. Marco Penge is like, he's going to be on the PGA Tour next year, right? He's got his card locked up. He's a very, very strong player, and he's just got it's all gravy for him now. Just nothing to lose out there. So someone like that catches my attention. David Puig, he's $8,800 on DraftKings. He is he plays on Live Golf. The immense talent for a 23-year-old. Had a very good Live Golf year. He's getting better all the time. He played a couple of Asian Tour events and a couple of DP World Tour events earlier in the year. So he's kind of gone global. And I wish he was a little bit of a better second shot player, but he drives it well and his putting numbers are insane. I've got the Live Golf strokes gain numbers. I have a deal with them. I have the DP World Tour strokes gain numbers. I have a deal with them. So that's all loaded in here as well. So those are a couple that catch my attention. And then I know you didn't ask playoff Rondo, but I do have a Boo Weekly 100-1 ticket on the Senior Tour this week, which is just absolutely fantastic. All right, Rick, let's get this money. Sure, let's do it. Can we do a deep dive on Mark Hubbard doing round 1 showdown tomorrow? And don't know if I'd rather take him or Garrick Higo. All right, well, let's figure it out. So we've got Hubs and we've got Higo. A battle of the guys that look rather disheveled. Here is Hubbard. He's $8,000. He's coming off of a okay-ish end to the year. Loved what he did at Wyndham. Played pretty well at the Pro Corp. He's gonna have to rely on the accuracy for him this week. Has he played here before? Almost certainly, right? Yeah. Okay. 6th here 2 years ago. Not a lot of other good results outside of that very strong putter. Let me look at Higo, which I think is going to be a lot more volatile here. All right. So this is kind of like you're sprinting here. A 1-round showdown is a sprint. If you are playing something with a lot of entries and you are willing to take on high risk, high reward, that's Higo, who might snap off and gain 3 strokes with the putter, 2 off the tee in a single round, and he might go nuts. Over 4 rounds, though, Higo does not provide a lot of consistency, and he does not provide a low floor or high floor at all. Hubbard's floor is significantly better, but he probably doesn't have the same upside. So I'm going to say, and I know this is kind of sick, but like if you're in a round 1 showdown, probably Higo. Sprint through this thing. DFS Chef with very good advice. He says, smash the like button. And then he references Doc Redman, who Monday qualified. It's been a while since we've had a chance to talk about him. That's right. So let's do a deep dive on Doc. It has not been good for a very long time. I'm not actually sure what his status situation is. If you look at his results on the Corn Ferry last year, they are weak. So this was Q School. I'll scroll down a little bit more so you can see that, or I'll get rid of this comment. So this is Q School here. That was at the end of the year last year. Since then, 2 top 25 finishes, 0 top 15 finishes. He's lost strokes to the field in 5 of his last 6, including 4 missed cuts in his last 6, 5 missed cuts in his last 7. That is not good. He's played here 4 times. He did not play here last year, probably because he didn't qualify, and has never finished. His best finish is a T28, but the other 3 are outside the top 50. So as much as I would love for Doc to figure this out and get the game dialed in again, he looks very far away from that to me. Afternoon, Dan. Good to see you. Rick O'Shea is off the wall. I have no idea what that means, but I like it. Still coming down off that Ryder Cup. Yeah, it was absolutely bonkers. It is really hard to describe 60,000 people, maybe more, on like 2 holes. It's it's a lot, and it's still a lot. And they're like 20 deep in every spot. The viewing experience as a fan is probably not great. But then the way that course finishes, the way that Bethpage finishes, come back over the road 15, 16, 17, 18, especially like 15, 16, 17. Or no, 16 green, 17 tee and green, and then you go to 8 is like unbelievable. And you can see everything from over there. It is really, really unbelievable. So Tyler says, about Hawaii, why not give Hawaii 2 weeks of season openers? There has to be another championship course in the Hawaiian Islands aside from Wailea and Hawaii. Yeah. Well, yes, probably. There's also an infrastructure situation. So I believe you're referring to, this is what the Senior Tour opens with, right? Yeah, listen, we've got to get creative. I'm interested to see what, new CEO Brian Rolap does here, because I think it's weird, but like I would rather have the event and have no fans there and have the event. I think if you cancel an event or you move it away from Hawaii, I think that's a pretty big loss. Even if you had to play Waialae 2 weeks in a row, you're getting two completely different fields. I know that's not the best thing. There is precedent for it. We did it during COVID. Like, let's get creative here. There must be something. There's a lot of great golf courses in Hawaii, a lot of great championship golf courses in Hawaii. Infrastructure is going to be the problem. If you think, oh man, I would love for them to go to Australia. So my thing, I mean, we're just going to chat here for the, I mean, there's not a ton of questions here. So I always thought my dream schedule, I've written this up somewhere, is basically, signature events, national championships, and then at kind of the beginning and the end of each year, you do a swing somewhere and it changes. So maybe one year, the opening swing is 3 events in Asia. And the next year, it's 3 events in Australia. And the next is 3 events in Europe. And the next, it's 3 events in South Africa or Africa or whatever. Like, the PGA Tour has clearly not done a very good job of growing global audiences. That's very clear. And I understand how difficult that would be. But if you start building in multiple weeks in a row and you go to all of these regions once every 4 years, I think that helps a lot. Can you give 5 guys that you would say on Sunday night that we are not surprised they won this week, given stats, form, skill set, and motivation? All right, let me look at this. Let me look at this field. Akshay, just talent. Minwoo has been playing well and has talent. If you missed it, Minwoo's played twice since his run in the FedEx Cup playoffs ended. Played the BMW PGA Championship, finished T11, finished T5 in France, contended there, had a chance to win that golf tournament. Really strong play overseas. 7 of his 8 rounds were fantastic. Would not be surprised by that. Wouldn't be surprised about Davis Thompson, winner, and the break probably helps him. Rico Hoey and Matt Wallace, I think, is the last one that I would not be surprised. If you want me to go farther than that, Taylor Montgomery, Mac Meisner, that would be it. Hey, Rick, can you, thanks for the great content. Can you run a model with 20% on each of the following: driving distance, approach, putting, birdie, or better tee to green? Thank you. All right, let's ride. Custom model, rickruggood.com. I don't know how many rounds he wants, but how many rounds Ronnie wants, but I'm going to go with 50 because I am going to reset some guys back to a 50 round baseline here. And then we're going to go 20 on driving distance. We are going to go 20 on approach. I'm just going to assume that strokes gained approach. I could do a lot of different things with that. Also the same with putting. Also tee to green. And then 20 on birdie or better, which is under scoring. So this is Ronnie's model. Ronnie's model says Cam Champ number 1. Whoa, mama. Whoa, Ronnie. Rasmus Højgaard number 2. Antoine Rosner 3. Matt Wallace 4. Emiliano Grillo 5. Sammy Valimaki. Nico Højgaard, Vince Whaley, Michael Thorbjornsen, Mark Hubbard. I'll tell you what, I love this top 10. However, we are going to need to do the Cam Champ deep dive because that is the one thing that really kind of worries me here. I mean, he's won here before, obviously, 2018, finished 9th 2 years ago. God, he is like, look at this. Look at the off the tee numbers. The way that he brings Country Club of Jackson to his knees is like the way Bryson thought he was going to bring Augusta National to its knees. This is, he's gaining like 1.5 strokes per round off the tee in like 14 rounds. That is a crazy floor. Crazy floor. Just be a 0 in most other places and you are going to finish inside the top 10. So maybe this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Really, I'll tell you what, the model surprised me here. I didn't realize Cam Champ had been that good. he did not play after the 3M Open. Was he just not going to make the playoffs and he just sat out? He played the Pro Tour, which was almost 2 months off, missed the cut. It wasn't the end of the world. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. But before that, I'll tell you what, this is growing on me. Ronnie's model might be my new favorite model. Congrats, Ronnie. What do you think about Sonoma Golf Club for the Sentry? They host the Charles Schwab from 2003, 2009. They could play Wildlife and start California Swing a week early. That's probably something like that is, I think, pretty likely. I think they're going to be pretty limited in Hawaii based on what they want. So it might just be like I hope they don't go to Torrey Pines again, right? It might just be like they find a place in California and do it that way. Sorry, I'm gonna mute myself and chug this coffee real quick. Okay. Hey Rick, the Hoygaards. I'm honestly bullish on Rasmus, but considering Nikolai played really well in the DP World Tour BMW Championship, I think, and maybe I'm more bullish on Nico this week. All right, so Nico, I was walking with Nico. I didn't talk to him because I'm not going to bother him, but he was out walking around the Ryder Cup last week. Let's look at what he's been up to. So he missed the cut in a pretty ugly fashion at the BMW PGA Championship. It was a complete loss. He lost strokes in all 4 major categories. He missed the cut at the European Masters in his start before that, although it was not nearly as bad. Only a really bad Friday round. The British Masters was fantastic. Nearly won the British Masters. So what are we getting? Are we getting the British Masters or are we getting the last 2 weeks? I would say this is narrative based, but your brother is on the Ryder Cup team. You're pseudo there. You're definitely there. You're pseudo on the team. You're on the team. There's got to be a ton of motivation for Nico to get back on that team. He's got to just be ill missing out on that squad this time around. Rasmus, on the other hand, let's look at Rasmus. Rasmus did not. It's very. It took me. It takes me a while to run the Ryder Cup numbers because it's such a different beast. But I was able to load the strokes gain numbers in on Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, and they are very take these with a grain of salt. Okay, he lost 6 strokes to the field. Did Rasmus? It was not particularly great. He missed the cut at the BMW Championship just like Nikolai did, and then he had a couple of good starts before that. I am probably more bullish on Nico, all things considered, maybe just a little bit more motivation, maybe less of a hangover. I don't know, but probably not going to get too involved with either one of those guys. Thoughts on Aaron Wise, 400 to 1, and Langergan. Is that how you spell his name? Let's look at Joaquin. Joaquin? He's from Sweden, so it's probably like Joaquin. Look at those eyes. God, these Swedish guys. All right. Here's what I see. Oh, this is kind of a unique profile. He's an off the tee and he's a putter. Hemorrhages around the green, which is not a huge issue this week. At least it won't be at the old course. The old course is you can just putt everything, right? If you miss the green at the old course, what are you doing? So I'm not as worried about that. Finished runner-up at the Irish Open, 8th at the Omega European Masters. He's having a decent year. Okay, I like that a lot. What's his price? $7,700. That's pretty good. Aaron Wise, unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be anything that we're too excited about. Yeah, there's not. I looked at this earlier this week. Withdrew from the Wyndham, miscut, 51st, miscut, 58th, miscut, 39th, and then 7 straight miscuts. So we are looking for his first top 50 in a couple of years. Remember, he took some time off. There was a mental health break. 400 to 1 is a very good number for a guy that at one point was a top 25 tee to green player in the world, but that was literal years ago, unfortunately. I hope he gets back to it. My Detroit Tigers, who I've adopted for the next 2 days, just gave up a go-ahead home run. Not very good for me. But I just need them to win the series, so not a huge deal. Can we do okay, here's the Jacob Bridgman deep dive. Yeah, let's do Bridgman. $9,200. This is pretty on brand. Tour Championship wasn't great, but you see that a lot from these guys, which is he played basically. Did he play every single week? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, he took a week off there because he probably didn't get into the Open. But he played like, Jesus, it's like 12. Oh my God. It's like 15 out of 16 weeks or something like that. A lot of guys run out of gas down the home stretch. His history at the Sanderson Farms was a T11 last year. The putter is all over he's kind of a short game specialist, right? The around the green, the putting, he's going to get you like a pretty large range of outcomes on approach. This is very hard to predict. He's a very hard guy to predict. So you're either always playing Jacob Bridgman or you're like never playing Jacob Bridgman. Gained 8 strokes putting here last year. That's probably not going to happen again, but might be an indication that he reads these greens really well. I would say slight positive on Bridgman, but as far as range of outcomes go, probably on the bigger end of range of outcomes. Any chance Tom Hoagie can put together a useful DFS week? I'm pretty sure he has been miserable. Yeah, this is tough. Just hemorrhaging strokes on approach, hemorrhaging strokes from tee to green, giving it away on the putting surfaces. That is even after, sometimes I would be almost more bullish if he could have been crap until the BMW Championship. And if he showed up at the Pro Tour and looked like himself, I could have gotten behind that because, you get a month off and you get time to figure it out and all that stuff. But he was bad there too. So that's very tough. Is Cam Young anytime major winner in 26 a crazy take? Yes, because you could say that about anybody but like Scotty Scheffler, and I would say that's a crazy take because there's only 4 of them, and Scotty Scheffler exists, and Rory McIlroy exists, and Xander Schauffele's probably going to have a better year, and like all these guys exist, right? However, I'm now starting to think Cam Young will win a major. The way that he has played, the metrics, everything just looks so good. And he's always just been this unbelievable talent. And now it feels like he's harnessed it a bit. It's incredible. I'm interested to see, sometimes we get the Ryder Cup bump, you know what I mean? Or the President's Cup bump. We've seen that. I think like Cam Davis, the year after he made the President's Cup team, I think he won for the first time the year after that. Mac Hughes, I think like had like a career year after making it's kind of these guys get a lot of confidence. They know they can play with one another, play at the highest level. There's like kind of a thing to that. I'm interested to see what Cam Young does. Does Max Homa shooting a 62 with Grant Horvat on YouTube give him a boost? No, but I would like to be early on Max. Really has turned the metrics around for the first time in a long time. I count about five good starts in a row, or at least good metric starts in a row. Approach play has been sound, driver's back. Putter all over the yard. Has he played here? Yes, but it's been a while. He hasn't played here since 2018. So I will be early on Max. I'm fine if you want to bet. If you talk, if we're resetting everybody back to their 100-round baseline or whatnot, Max has got to be one of the best players in this field. So I'm here for Max. Thoughts on Bezuidenhout? Let's look. It's a good week for putters, right? You look at some of the course key stats. Putting is very valuable. Approach play is very valuable. No surprise there, but even relative to other courses. And Bezuidenhout is a very strong putter and has turned into a very good approach player. The results have not been as good, but they haven't been bad. Finished sixth here 2 years ago. Yeah, we're in. We're in on Bezuidenhout. Way too early picks to win the 4 majors in 2026. Scotty will win. Where do I want to give Scotty? I will give. So let's think about this. Masters is at Augusta National, obviously. The U.S. Open. No. PGA is going to Aronimink outside Philadelphia. U.S. Open is going to Shinnecock, right? And the Open is going back to not Portrush, where Spieth. I never can remember. I have tickets to it, and I cannot remember where it's at. I always confuse it. It's where Spieth won. 26 Open Championship. It's called Birkdale. I always want to say Portrush. Royal Birkdale. So, let's give Scotty Shinnecock. Let's give one of these years, Justin Thomas is going to win the Masters. Let's give Justin Thomas the Masters and just end it. The Open at Birkdale goes to Ludwig. See that coming? And then Aronimink might be a Victor week. Victor. There you go. Hey, Rick, I love using all the tools on Rick Run Good, but maybe we can look together at the radar tool to determine what shot shape could work best this week. All right, so I would do a couple of things with this. So first off, I would do this. There is a website that I love called provisualizer.com. And you'll see me do like the course mapping on there. So they also have something else that I think is fun for shot shapes. So here we go. 2D. Oh, I clicked Silverado. Sorry. I need to click Country Club of Jackson. All right. That's not what I want, though. Maybe I want Country Club of Jackson. Guide? I thought it was 2D. Oh, here we go. Okay. So they have this. Like this little course layout thing, which I find interesting. And I just like to look at this and see which direction the holes go. I don't know if there's anything to this or not, but this looks to me like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 par 4s go right to left. 3 go the other way, though one's pretty straight. And then same thing for par 5s. Like 2 of them go left. 1 is pretty straight and 1 goes right. So maybe a right to left shot is the way to go here. So what we could conceivably do, let me zoom in a little bit on this, is we could go to the leaders here. The other thing that I need to do, and I actually have this coming, because this is not the perfect way to do this. Like, let's be clear about this, but I'm going to have the correlation of like, how does each shot shape correlate to success, just like these other stats do. So, if we look at the guys who hit the ball right to left the most in this field, Akshay is number 1. Now, he does it because that's a fade for him. Grayson Sig is 2. Trevor Cohn, Noah Goodwin, Nikolai Højgaard. The only other golfers who hit a right to left shape more than 60% of the time are Will Chandler, Benny On, and Cristobal Del Solar. That's it. If you go over 50%, more than half the time, there's only a few more guys. Right to left is kind of a lost art on the PGA Tour. Thorbjornsen, Snedeker, Suber, Zach Johnson, Higo, and Thorbjorn Olsen. Again, Higo, because he's a lefty, plays the fade. So I think that's interesting. I need to, and I'm going to make a note right now so I don't forget, so it's in front of my face again, to do the shot shape correlation. Because what I just did is not perfect, but at least is something kind of interesting. Since we are just shooting it today, yeah, we are. Thoughts on using the course fit to develop lineups versus the model? So you're looking at this, which is so what I think you're saying is take the course fit results and use that for the model. I guess the answer is yes. That's kind of what I'm trying to do when I go over to the model. And I see like the model is only as good as the inputs, right? And the inputs are coming from my brain, but they're really coming from like what the course key stats says, right? So I'm basically just passing those over there and saying, oh, well, we know putters are valuable and we know approach play is valuable. What I would like to get to is kind of what this course fit does, which is actually I have this kind of in the works where it would basically just take all of these values and make a model. There's problems with that, but it was, like you might have it where it's okay. Driving accuracy is worth 2.3 weights and putting is worth 22.1 and like that. Right. And you might have 30 things that go into the model, and a lot of them might have small slivers. Some might have more. There are problems with like double counting things and how strong some of these stats are and where do you draw the line. Best year to date strokes streak without a 3-putt is not a good stat. That's not a predictable stat. That's not it's garbage. So again, you got to be careful about garbage in, garbage out type of situation. But yeah, it's on my mind. I'm working on it. Those 2 home runs that the Indians have just hit, the Guardians have just hit, looked like routine fly balls. What is going on at that ballpark? They were routine flies, weren't they? Am I just sweating this? That's pretty funny. Hughes, first round leader. Take it or leave it. Whoops, I clicked Brian Hughes. That's what Brian Hughes looks like. I don't want that. I want Mackenzie Hughes. That's what Mackenzie Hughes looks like. Oh boy, leave it. I don't even care. I don't need to see anything else. Look at this approach column. Loser, 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 loser. And those are big losses. How do you lose strokes ball strike and finish T7 at the Pro Court because you gained nearly 8 strokes putting? That's shocking. Get him out of here. So Aaron, I did not once go into the merch shop at the Ryder Cup, and I'm happy about that. I have been trying to declutter. I have so many polos and so many hats that I never wear. I will, if you want hats that I've never worn or worn less than 10 times, I will just send them to you. Just pay for shipping and I'll just send them to you. I have so many hats and shirts and whatever. I just feel like a sucker of consumerism, right? I mean, I didn't even go in. The thing that there's cool stuff in there. Do I need it? I don't need it. I don't need it. I didn't not even go in. That's all. I don't know. Brandel says the U.S. needs a new data team. The new Cup captain gives you a call. What do you say? Say at your service, Captain. Yeah, I would love that. I would literally devote so much energy to making that as good as I could, right? I would have a binder that I carried around. I would track their players, our players, the course. I would love that. And I would give it my utmost priority. I don't think it's going to happen, but it would be sick. Off the top of your head, would you say more salary is left on the table for the optimal lineup in these fields without many of the top ranked guys? Off the top of my head, yeah. If you look at even looking at the odds, the shortest golfer is 20-1. So already you have everybody in the field who has a less than 5% chance to win. So you have so many guys that are capable of winning the golf tournament. And I think I might have said it on Monday, or maybe I just thought it. If the optimal lineup was 6 guys in the $7,000 range, I would not be surprised at all in a week like this. It's just wide open. It's really wide open. And I think the odds indicate that. This is interesting. That says, has there been a long enough break for Dunlap to figure out his driver? Well, that's not physical. That's mental. He has the driver yips. I don't know. That's a great question. This is one of the more bizarre situations. He wins the Barracuda and then loses it all. I don't know. But the first time we see him tee it up, which I guess is going to be this week, be very interested to see what he does off the tee. Very interested. It's a good call. I'm going to favorite him so I don't forget about that. The answer to this is yes, Jack. I will get tee times onto the custom one. My majors parlayed 127,000 to 1. Okay. Put down $1 on that for me and we'll split it. If all those come through, we'll split it. I have the Guardians 30 to 1 to win it all. Well, I hope you're wrong. But if they win this series, I don't care anymore. So then I hope you're right. So we're enemies. Who's your daddy? At least until tomorrow night. And then we'll see where this goes. My betting card, in which does not matter and you should not care about, and you should spend your money however you want, is pretty straightforward this week. Rico Hoey, 35 to 1, Davis Thompson, 22 to 1, Matt Wallace, 50 to 1. A variety of matchups, a variety of finishing positions. Probably my biggest finishing position stances, Taylor Montgomery, top 20. But you should wager your hard-earned dollars the way you want. Ownership. The highest owned golfer this week is projecting to be a Mr. Min Woo Lee, coming down at about 21%. Pretty spread out the top, though. Probably because those odds are pretty tight and nobody's super thrilled about anything. Davis Thompson, 20.5. Akshay, 20.4. 19 on Thor Bjornsson, 15 on Mackenzie Hughes, which is just stunning. Rasmus at 15. Emiliano Grillo at 14. You can see it there. Also, I have found, there must be a directive here. And I don't want to say this about the Ryder Cup because I think they did have some really cool stuff. I did see there was a lot of 47 brand, which I love. Just the hat with just the Ryder Cup trophy on it, which is what I would have bought if I went in there, but I don't need a 700th hat. I've noticed a just complete lack of kind of creativity. And I wonder if that is a directive. Like everything has to have like the very corporate logo. There used to be a time where they could kind of get freaky and like make their own logos a little bit, or take like have a stance on a logo, or like only do the trophy, or only do this, or only do that. And now it's like, no. Like it has to say like Farmers Insurance Open, and it has to do like, I don't know. It feels like a lot of the stuff, a lot of the creativity has been neutered a little bit. And I don't know if that's coming down from the top or what that is, but I'm still a sucker for buying it, but I don't know. Okay. I think that's going to do it. Wow. We did a pretty good job here. We got through a lot of good stuff. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Next week, do I need to discuss this? All right. Next week might be a little bit different. So there will still be a Monday preview for the new event. It is called the Bay Current Classic, but it's the Zozo. Okay. It got a new sponsor. They moved it to a new golf course. It's going to be in Japan. There will be a Monday preview. The live chat probably will not happen. I'm just going to tell you that right now. We are going to be in Europe. I know, don't feel sorry for me. We're going to be we're taking a cruise. Mina's postseason vacation that she gets, part of her contract. So we're going to be taking a cruise, and I have told her if the internet is good enough, I will do it from the boat. However, I think that is incredibly unlikely based on the reviews that we have read, that it is good enough to stream a live show. I'll do the Monday show we're going to leave out of Rome. So probably somewhere in Rome, and we will upload it, presuming we have a pretty good we can find some pretty good internet to upload it in Italy. But once we get on the boat, do not think that is happening. So if I do not see you on Wednesday, I apologize. This is our call it a quick sabbatical. It'll be right back at it in the next tournament. But if we can get it to work, it'll work. If not, we're just gonna rock. So appreciate you guys. I'm not taking my clubs. I know it's horrible. It's hard. I'm just gonna have to eat and lay around the pool. Don't feel too bad for me. I would love to do a cruise cast. Trust me, I would love nothing more. If they said, hey, I can get you 20 megabytes, I can get you 20 upload, 20 download for $100 a day, I would do that. But I don't think that's going to be an option. So either way, appreciate you guys. I'll do the best that I can. We'll do the best that we can. And I will talk to you guys next time.